Hello, Virgo. This is your home light security reading for all Virgo signs for the month of August. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get my stuff together here. If you've never watched these videos before, please look at that information right there. Because it may help you to understand how to read or to take in the energies of what I'm saying in this reading, because I do a little bit of astrology, I do a little bit of cards, whatever spirit gives me, so forth. And this is for Virgo signs, but if you're a sun Virgo, then I'm in your core energy more. If you're in a moon Virgo, then I'm more in your emotions. If you're a rising Virgo, then we're talking more about your three-dimensional world and how things are looking for you. So, whoa. So I'm giving it to you from that point of view. Oh, let me hit this button too. So let me see what the cards have to say. The very first thing out is the moon. And the moon, it's your higher and your lower waters. I'm sorry, I have an itch. It's your higher and your lower waters. I don't see tarot quite the same way as many people do, because I see it a lot through some of the Hebrew alphabetical information, and it's the higher and the lower waters, meaning which level of waters are you traveling through? Are you traveling through, the higher dimensions that are more high vibrational, or are you traveling through the ego and the lower emotional waters? It is speaking to you as to where you're going to see the energies of what is going on for you. As well as when I do astrology, for me, I always say the moon, it's not just your emotional indifference or emotional energy, but the moon also is teaching you lessons about surpassing it and growing into a higher spiritual energy. When we look at it from an astrological point of view, the moon is the closest thing to us. So before we can start learning lessons about what the other planets have to teach us, such as, Neptune, Uranus, Mars, Venus, you have to learn to pass the moon. And this is also controlling your emotional waters, as well as not just being above or below, but controlling the flow, ebb and flow of them. Now, the next card that's coming out, though, is runes. The ruin. And it is Gemini and Aquarius in energy. It is destructive power of the heart. It is changing how you deal with fear, changing how you deal with what you see right in front of you, and how you will react to it, which is pretty much the same thing in a form of what we were talking about here. Now, let me see, because this is where I had gotten pretty much right when I was starting the video. What else does Virgo need to hear? Thank you. Perfect. Okay, the moon, the rune, because she will lead you to the Queen of Wands. Yes, there is some destructive energy happening. Yes, there is some, I mean, think about it. You guys are also in your 12th house. When I get into the astrology, I'll get deeper with you on this. But this is leading you into the Queen of Wands. This is the Queen of Wands. This is, inspiring. It is a new beginning. It is, she knows what she wants. She knows how to connect to that fire and create it and bring it in. She knows how to be, seek that higher knowledge of the eagle. She knows how to be that cardinal energy and bring it and create it and start to bring it into reality. So this is a good thing. However, there is some learning how to get your emotions in check. There is some realizing that there are some shifting, changing going on, and that you have to be in check if you want to be the magician. So this is a good thing. It is going to be throughout the whole month. It's not just a Lionsgate thing, because it's going through the 12th house for you and coming into a new birthing, a new beginning, and coming back into claiming your magic, claiming your power, claiming where you're taking everything. This is a good thing, but there is a lesson here that is coming with it. Is there anything else? Yeah, of course there is. Hold on. What else does Virgo need to hear? That was weird. I literally felt them pick me up and like put me over here. And then what came out is the bigger picture. And I'm getting this on a lot of the energies, just in different ways, but it's still the same kind of thing. It's the bigger picture. And I use it when I explain it. It's the way I explain one of the runes when I do runes. To help people understand the way I'm explaining this energy is, say I told you to look at the wall. Like, look at the wall over there. And most people are going to be like, so apparently you're talking about the picture on the wall, right? And I'm like, no, I mean the wall. But when you say something like that to somebody, they're like, so I'm looking at the picture or pictures on the wall. I'm inspecting the picture or pictures. I'm inspecting the frame. What is it? Is it wooden? Is it metal? You're looking at a part of the picture. When I ask you to look at the wall, I mean the entire wall. Is there a window there? Is there pictures there? Is there spider webs there? Does it need to be painted? Does it look ratty? I mean, the wall is seeing the big picture, the entire picture, not just parts of it, not just what kind of frame it is. What is the picture about? Is the foundation of the wall good? This is part of what we're looking at right now. When we're going through the 12th house, you're looking at the foundation. What part of the bigger picture is not being noticed? And it's the 12th house, grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and insecurities. It's the denials that we've gotten comfortable with, that we've told ourselves it's okay because I'm comfortable in my uncomfortability, instead of making these changes and getting healthier, happier, higher vibrational. So we're looking at the full picture. We're looking at the pieces that we overlook, the corners, and we're looking into what is really important here. Now, the next thing that's coming out is making decisions, because you're seeing the whole picture and what has to change in order for that magic to be created into what you want to create it into as you move forward. I think that's really actually pretty good understanding, pretty good energy. However, like I said, there is lessons here. I mean, it's the 12th house. There is lessons here. Now, when I get into the astrology itself, I'm going to remind you, before I pull up the astrology and start reading it to you, we are definitely in the Lionsgate. The Lionsgate is not the only thing going on here. Like I said, Virgos, you guys are in your 12th house in one form or another, because wherever the sun is the house that you're walking through. So like for me, I'm a Virgo rising. So my manifestation in my three-dimensional world is going through its 12th house before I finally have my finished rebirthing. Okay. So depending on how you're viewing things, sun, moon, or rising will depend on how you're viewing it. Lionsgate is through the 8th, but technically it's a little longer than the 8th. But this energy is going to go into a new moon at the end of the month in Virgo. So we're definitely going from one house directly to the next. And it's how is this new beginning in Virgo going to play off of this Lionsgate energy? Now, you have the full moon, which is going to be in opposition of the Lionsgate, which is in Aquarius on the 11th. You have Venus, which is moving into Leo, also on the 11th, right after the Lionsgate. Then you have Mars, which is moving into Gemini on the 20th. The sun moves into Virgo on the 22nd. Uranus is in retrograde on the 24th. That's a big deal. Uranus is already in shadow then, and you're already feeling the energies of that shadow from that Uranus. Mercury is going to be moving into Libra on the 25th, and then you have the new moon taking place on the 27th. Now, let's get into the astrology here. All right, Virgo. So you have technically the sun is in Leo, which is your 12th house. Now, right after the Lion's Gate, Venus is going to move in to this energy right with Ceres, which is the threefold. She also speaks to you about what you nurture or what you are neglecting in the 12th house. But technically, Venus won't be there until the 11th. So she's strolling out of that 11th house for you into your 12th. And then going to walk through this energy as you come into your first house and come from the 12th house to the first. So what you're looking at is the groups, the committees, the memberships that you are part of, and how that is playing in that 12th house. Because Venus is going to be touching base on what makes you feel secure and what makes you feel insecure. She's going to be touching base on your grief, your sorrow, your shame, your blame, your insecurities, what you're not healing, what you're in denial of, how you are actually, because the 5th house is a creative energy. So how you are unconsciously creating from the 12th house according to your sensitivity. And she's touching base on the things that are going to be making you more insecure, more uncomfortable with. And the reason for this is not to mess with you, but to help you find your insecurities and the denials that you're unconsciously not healing, that you are unconsciously forcing it to bring into consciousness and bring light to the surface of your grief, your sorrow, your shame, your blame, your skeletons in your closet. Where is it that you are comfortable in your insecurity? Where is it that you've told yourself that that's just the way it is and therefore it'll be okay? And it's not the truth. And the healing needs to take place. The change needs to take place. The addressing of your truth in the corners of what you're not wanting to see about yourself. The areas that get the spider webs that we tend to overlook, and where we need to, clean that up, sharpen, and love back to right. These areas of our unconsciousness are coming into our consciousness more because the sun is illuminating it as it goes through this Lion's Gate. Then the energies are going to move into your first house, into your character, starting to address new levels of the character flaws as well as character that you want to be, and help you to see where you just need to clean up a little bit, touch up, fix your makeup, maybe make sure that the eyeliner isn't running, but of the soul. That's all that this is. It's touching up soulful pieces that you've not given the proper love to. The soulful pieces of where you doubt, where you're not stepping into that higher vibration because you're accidentally, unconsciously creating from a little bit of doubt, a little bit of not fully secure. But we're learning how to address that and secure it, strengthen it, create the magic inside and breathe life back into it, strengthening your character all the way around. So this is a very positive thing. And then you have the new moon at the end of the month in that very character of who and what you are. So it's not just touching base with who you are on a deeper, raw, soulful level, on an area of denial, but an area of where you just haven't loved yourself. You haven't looked at yourself and told yourself it's good, it's okay, that this is a better you, because you've loved yourself into understanding that. This is part of where you're learning to go from 3-dimensional into the 4 and 5, and into actually viewing yourself and the world around you in a higher perspective, by learning where the perspective isn't at its greatest. And that is actually a very good thing, by learning how to shift everything into a brand new beginning, so that you are rebirthing as your birthday comes. That is the whole month right there, as far as those 3 energies. And that's a glorious thing, actually. It's going to take a couple moments, a month of adjusting as you're walking through that. Now, as you get into your core energy after the 20th, when it is actually into that rebirthing time, remember, Mercury is actually going to be moving on the 25th out. But up until the 25th, your communication is in your core energy of really paying attention to, are you addressing these energies or not? And then it moves into your second house, which is the relationship with yourself, as well as outwardly, according to how honest you've been with your communication with yourself, and how you want to take that. Because that communication you have, your self-communication, with Mercury moving into, on the second half of the month, moving into your second house, this is going to really start to address your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your money manifestation, your law of attraction. And you have to be communicating from that truth of what you've learned from that 12th house, that Lion's Gate, illuminating that truth, bringing it back to the authority of you, back to the character of you, back to the identification of who and what you are, breathing life into your full soul source self, and then going, now let's address your manifestation, your law of attraction, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. So this is a good thing. But if you're in denial, and if you're not communicating forthcomingly with yourself, then it may play against you. And that will take it away from that Wands, Queen of Wands, and away from that Magician. So you want to make sure that you're creating what you want to create through the honesty and the truth of your soulfulness, of your truth, by addressing the truth. And then it's going to help you strengthen the light of the manifestation that's coming towards you. So this is a good thing, but it is a lesson that's teaching you to critique the manifestation, teaching you to critique your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, teaching you to critique your views of the world and yourself. And then it will critique how your world is according to that manifestation. So this is a very good thing, but it's asking you to really get real with yourself. Now, your third house, that's where the issues come in. Your third house is Scorpio, which is where the South Node is. So there's going to be habits that are going to be hard to break. There's going to be communication habits that are hard to break, because Scorpio energy is birth, death, rebirth. It should be easy transformation of the communication. But with the South Node here, this means there's areas that you're very comfortable with communicating with yourself in certain ways. But that does not mean that those certain ways have been good to you anymore. Doesn't mean that they support and are healthy to you anymore. So where is it that your communication with yourself, and then how you choose to communicate outwardly, where is it that that communication, that brain thinking, is on a lower vibration and needs to be tweaked to get up to a higher vibration? This is part of where you need to adjust your creativity, your thinking, your character, your self-belief, and then take it outwardly and show the world that you are critiquing it. And then that is going to help adjust and shift everything from there on out. But you have to be honest about where you continuously, like, trash talk. We all trash talk ourselves in certain ways. We don't mean to, but it's like when we call ourselves stupid for some reason, and your brain hears this, your soul hears this, and it's like, there she goes telling bad things to me again. We have to stop doing these things, these communications of where we do things that are poor, and learn to start creating it from a more healthy perspective. This, Virgos, you guys are anal retentive. I am too. So this is learning how to be anal retentive for all the right reasons that support the soul, support the heart, and the way we're communicating. Make sure that if you're using that anal retentive, picking it apart, detail-oriented energy, that you're using it to support the heart and soul and the communication. Then it will help lift everything. But make sure that you're addressing it from that perspective. Because remember, Regulus is now in Virgo, which means all the anal retentive organization ideas, troubleshooting should be coming from the heart and soul. And if it isn't, then it's a waste of time now. So this is a new way of how you need to fact check your thinking. And if you're fact checking that thinking from the heart and soul, then it's going to direct you in a more positive way. Now, your fifth house and your sixth house is all about finding your creativity, finding your fun, having the time to be able to be in that pursuit of pleasure, that inner joy, that inner fun, that inner child, that enjoying your hobbies, enjoying your artistic side, enjoying what makes you tick and want to be here. Pluto is here in retrograde in the fifth house, saying, I want you to tap into what makes you enjoy being part of life, and showing the world that, because there's a big spark of who and what you are that needs to be seen in that level. But your sixth house has Saturn here, which is also where the full moon is, saying, are you getting the ability to tap into that inner fun, to tap into those hobbies, to tap into what makes you tick, to tap into, the love of being part of life, the enjoyment, the creativity, the inner cat of the lion, because it's still ruled by the fifth house, even though for you it's Capricorn and Aquarius coming into the full moon, speaking directly about what needs to be shifted so that you can tap into that one part of yourself more. And then bringing out the illumination, the spark that shows the world what great person you are, what great activities help you be you. Are you getting the time to do that, or are you being manipulated into thinking you have to do this, I got to do this, I have to take care of that, setting the rules, walls, and boundaries so that you have the time for you. This is important right now, and that's coming with the full moon. So it's showing you where you're not getting that time, where you're not getting to address that spark of you. And without that spark of you, that creativity can't be ignited and bring back that full source energy. So this is saying, are you taking the time to nourish it by maneuvering the rules, walls, and boundaries to make time for it? As you get into your 7th and your 8th house, this is where you're going to be addressing some, I'd say, maybe darker issues. And I say it in that way because your 8th house is in retrograde, but your 7th house is the universal 12th house. Neptune is here, giving you the opportunity to breathe magic into any relationship. But are you? Or are you breathing, questions and doubts into the relationships? Because, see, your 8th house is the ability to make the relationships grow, mature, blossom, to continue on forever. Or are they showing you where they're kind of expired? Are they showing you where you're not on the same wavelength anymore? You're not on the same vibration anymore. See, Aries is the rules, walls, and boundaries for you of that 8th house. And the ability to make that so. But Aries is in retrograde. It has Uranus here. Not Uranus. It has Eris here. Trouble, toil, strife, and injustice. Wanting to point fingers and going, well, the reason we're not doing any good, the reason we're not growing is because of this. Chiron, which is I'm able to see the problems for everybody else, but I have a problem finding it for myself. And Jupiter. Jupiter is abundance of knowledge, but are you feeding him from a retrograde of Eris' trouble, toil, strife? Then you're looking at the relationships itself and the magic. Are you in retrograde in your relationships and the rules of these relationships? Are you looking at yourself and where you need to grow in order to make them grow? It's not everybody, the relationships, it's two sides. There's two sides to every story, but you can't put all of the growth on the relationship on the outer people. It also has to be the responsibility of yourself and where are you growing? And with Aries being in retrograde, a beginning point, a new cycle, trying to start new relationships by understanding where you fail at them, where you're not as healthy in the relationships with yourself as well as others, will help you to understand what growth needs to take place in order for the relationships to grow. And then come November, Jupiter is going to go back into the 7th house and go, so did you learn the lesson? So this isn't just right now. This isn't just this month. This is about understanding from now until December how we're changing our character within our relationships, where we need to grow within our relationships so that relationships are capable of flourishing and growing and blooming. As well as, do we have the right people in our relationships? Are we on the same wavelength? Are we on the same vibration? Or is it that we're just out of sync and new relationships need to be addressed because of that, or new rules, walls, and boundaries? But this isn't about pointing fingers outwardly. This is about where do you rise into a higher vibration so that you can create everything you want to create. Now, your 9th house is your ethics, your morals, your spirituality, your psychic energy. But on a universal level, that's the 2nd house, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. So, and this is important right now because Uranus is going retrograde on the 24th. Uranus is normally in Taurus, the law of attraction. manifestation and money house. But for you, this is also your spirituality. This is also your ethics, your morals, picking it apart, being able to see the bigger picture. Like the card was saying, getting into, the corners of the window, cleaning the tracks of the window, cleaning the spider webs in the corner, getting really deep with our truth and expanding, because you're having a bigger mindset, a higher vibrational, larger view of your reality and your spirituality, as well as your three-dimensional 4-5, and taking this into bigger perspectives. Uranus is in retrograde, or in shadow, will be in retrograde. So this is independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, questioning that psychic activity, questioning that ability, questioning the world around you. And this is asking you to put that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem into your morals, into your psychic beliefs, into your into your time jump, is what they just said. Put yourself into the love of the energy of what you want to be. Put yourself into the energy of the vibration you want to be. And seeing it from that point of view. This is time jumping. This is also it's time jumping, and basically taking yourself from one place to another by believing in your part of the spirituality, your part of the oneness. And your part of the thought of the oneness is part of the creation of the manifestation that you will be bringing to you. Understand that. That's part of the time jump. Because they literally just pick me up, flip me around, and put me back. So are you doing that? Are you coming back in the same place? Or are you coming back slightly shifted? It's growth. Now, that's actually a very good way of putting it, guys. When you get into your 10th house and your 11th house, this is where Mars is moving into your 11th house. Into your 10th house. And your 11th house is technically your inner emotional security, because it's ruled by Cancer. Cancer is the 4th house, inner emotional security. For you, it's the 11th house. So finding security in who you are in the outward level, on the outside, in the outer world. Taking action and being secure in who you are outwardly, in the authority of the outer world. Not being submissive, but being in control of your own power, in control of your own life, in control of your own destiny, because of that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, which directs that inner emotional security. Not allowing that Lilith energy to be submissive and giving all of your power away. Not allowing yourself to get aggressively push and shove because you feel like someone's trying to take your power away. But finding the power in you to be secure in the life you're creating. This is the direction that it's trying to direct you for the next couple months. I love you. Bye.